Who is the Son replacement? That is the question we're asking today. Big up to all my European champions, my Spurs kings and queens. It's your boy Ashmatic. Make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe underneath. Also, we do have a major award ceremony taking place next month. So make sure you're voting for your favorite YouTubers. Let's get into it, guys. Son. So we need to look at alternatives. And I think the heavy favorites have to be players like Eze. And it's going to be a new regime for Tom. His new CEO and chairman have both said that they're looking for the the audacity. So if we're talking that tough, you need players to match it. Also, prefers that destination. However, there are players such as Javi and also players just like Semeno, too popular in the actual fan base from what I'm hearing. But yeah, we're also linked with a player called players that we link with. I'm sure people have their preference. I know I do. I really like Eze. But I think we're going to talk about a player that's been on my mind for a minute. And that goes by the guy by the name of Mohamed Kudos. Mohamed Kudos, he's a player I really like. And I think he could be a game changer for Spurs. Let's have a look at him, man. As you can see, he's 24 years old. He's roughly 5'9", 5'10". So he's not the tallest of players. 5'9". He plays right wing, but predominantly left wing last season for West Ham. It says 45 million on transfer market, but we do know that he has a release fee, and that's around 80 to 85 million pounds. But it looks like Spurs were trying to offer 50 million just as a starting point. But we'll see how that goes on and how that progresses to see if we are actually serious about that appointment. Also, in terms of tactical play or formations that he's set up in, he's played in a 3-4-2-1. He's also played in a 4-3-3 as well. And pretty similar to what we're playing. He's played in a 4-2-3-1. You can see by his heat map, he's played predominantly on the right and on the left hand side. He's featured heavily there for West Ham. From his stats, if you just talk about his pass completions really high, successful take-ons as well. He's actually one of the best in Europe. I think he's the best in the Premier League in terms of take-ons and top 5 leagues. I think he's in the top 5 as well. Shots total as well, not bad. But shot creation actions, poor. Expected goals, expected assists, actual assists as well, not where they should be. Touches in the penalty area, progressive passes received, it goes on. So there is room to work, but I think the psychological profile of the player may have something to do with it. And it may be the change of managers and not being able to get the best out of him and him thinking that he has more to offer. Here he is again for his goals and assists, 8 goals and assists in total for last season. I think he's underperforming there. I've mentioned him against Morgan Rogers, Everett Eze, Semeno, Morgan Gibbs-White, and Kulusevski there at the bottom. And also other stats here, non-penalty expected goals. So what positions is he taking up? Is he in a massive advantage? And he's actually third out of these attacking midfielders. So that's where I'm profiling him at the moment. Shots per 90 as well. You can see there, he's third on the list. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's look how he strikes that ball. And he strikes the ball ever so cleanly with his left foot predominantly. You can see he has a lot of power. Here he is, a poacher striker, a poacher goal with his right foot, showing he's got the tenacity and hunger to get in that position. Good improvisation, great shot, half volley there. Fantastic finish there as well. Top corner, finesse shot there, showing a different range of shots, finding the bottom corners, switching the keeper, giving the keeper the eyes. And there he is, getting that actual hunger to get in those positions. That's what I really like about the guy. He's got that kind of aggression, that tenacity. And I think that's why you could actually see him play in a false 9, because that's a player that could stretch the actual back line, get on the other things, and maybe make room for players like Madison. But here he is again. Here's a little bit of his link-up play. So shot creation actions, his good way of pass, little improvisation, little flicks, and he gets it in. He's got no right to beat this man on that byline, but he does, and they end up scoring. Here he is with his head up, dribbling, driving at the team, and he does a lovely little through ball. There he is again, protecting the ball, driving at speed, and then he picks out one of his teammates. So very unselfish, nice little clip through ball into the pocket. Here he is running his players, able to slow it down in his mind and then pick up the right pass. Unfortunately, his teammate wasn't the same wavelength. There he is again, a reverse diagonal pass. Short pass is completed, as I mentioned already, really good. And you see that in his build-up play. He drops off short, good movement, and he uses his ability to come off the line and does little flicks around the corner, little chests, little back heels, little through balls, little gives and goes, just to find his teammates, little 1-2s just there in that dangerous area. There he is, gets head up, picks up, and he's happy just to slow it down, look after it, do all passes just to keep possession in his team, to help his team progress up the pitch. Here he is again, drops off that centre back, that full back, nice and aggressive, little 1-2s in behind, and there, see you later, mate. There he is, peeling off his little full back again, little step overs, drops off the shoulder, keeps a hold of the ball, and that's what Spurs need in terms of keeping hold of the ball. Crosses again, clipping balls into that far corner, using his left foot quite effectively there. I know on his right foot, he's not as good. He's overhit that cross there on his right foot, but on his left foot, a lot better in terms of finding those crosses. I know Frank likes crosses like in that kind of pocket. Here he is getting to the byline and he's doing a cut back there. Here it is in the pocket right there. That's the cross I was talking about. Switches of play, not bad as well. Long passes, decent. It's able to open up the pitch, open up the play. That one wasn't super accurate there, but and that one's a bit under hit, so he doesn't quite find his man. But generally, he's able to find his teammates with a ball that they can run onto. Here he is. Player checks his run, but he's able to whip that ball, stretch the play. And that's what we didn't really have. We had a lot of players doing short passes. We didn't have a lot of players that had long passes. But here he is on the ball. He's getting pressed against a low block, but he's able to open up that pitch. And that's what you need to do to stretch teams. But here's his successful carries, not as strong as his dribbles. And as you can see, he's got a very tight control, physical ability, strong core, holds his player off. He does like a pirouette. I call it a little 360. First touch into space, gets his head up, and he's able to drive at his teammates. There he is again, picks up the ball, little 360 on a turn, and he's got that low center of gravity as well, which allows him to have a quick acceleration. Nice little chops as well to cut back inside, little body feints, using his strength, drop of the shoulder, body feints. Here he is again, turns on that half turn, press resistance. Every time a player tries to press him, he's able to turn, and that's what you need in that midfield area. And you can see a lot of these times when he's got the ball out here is wide, but majority of the clips I'm showing you are central. And even if it is wide, he does like to drive into the midfield area, taking on 3 or 4 players. And that's what you need to do to start transitions, to start attacks, to break low blocks as well. And that's what he's doing. Look, another 360, a little drop of the shoulder, uses his hips to deceive a player. Good eye to feet coordination, protects the ball, uses his hand as well to separate his man. Look at the space, first touch, he drives into that space. There he is again, 3 or 4 players around him, and he's able to drive at speed, looking unpredictable, even though he's quite one-footed. There he is, using a little dink just to beat a player. There he is, chopping onto his weaker foot, controls it, and there he is again. But that's a top player, in my opinion, and I think he profiles similar to, I would call, a right-sided 8 more than a right winger, even though he was deployed there for West Ham, or on the left where he was deployed a lot, because Bowen was actually on the right predominantly that season. And I think he could be played also as a Metsala, similar to what you see with like a certain midfielders that play like a right-sided 8, more of an attacking 8. And also he could play as a false 9, in my opinion, as well. And he could do damage on that side as well. Another player we'll be linked with is Eze. That's a player I want to talk about. Here I'm showing he is 27. He's going to be 27 at the end of June, at the end of this month. So a lot older than Kudos on paper, but he's got 8 goals and 8 assists, so 16 goal contributions. He is 100 grand a week as well. And as it says here on Transfer Market, he is an attacking mid, but can play wide. He has played on the left wing. He has played in left midfield as well. So he's played in multiple positions. He's born in Greenwich. But yeah, what can I say? Everybody knows about him. plays in a 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1. So he can play it in the 10 or the shadow striker, or I call it supporting striker from back in the day. But here's his heat map showing how where he picks the ball up quite deep as well in the midfield attacking area, left hand side. That's where he predominantly lives. And that's some of his stats, similar to Kudos on his stats. If I just bring it back a little bit, on his stats, we'll just say that successful take-ons is elite, and then shot creation actions, non-penalty goals, expected goals, expected assisted goals, actual assists, shots totals, etc., etc. Things to look at will be progressive carries or concerns, progressive passes, pass completion as well, touches in the penalty area, passes received. Even some of the aerial stats are quite low as well. But some of these stats I wouldn't worry about because the eye test suggests otherwise. You can see 3 or 4 players around him get into that byline, and he's able to get a shot off there in that tight angle. There it is again, about 4 or 5 players around him, but he's still able to find and turn and get his shot off at the same time. Here he is down the sides. He's able to get down that line, beat his player, and he's got fantastic balance for a player. He's quite short and diminutive, but he uses that to his advantage, puts it through the player's legs. He's quite tricky as well. So on that, he's able to take about 4 or 5 players out of the game, get his shot off, and actually scores. Here he is again, switches to play, fools the goalkeeper by scoring. So those are his GAs, shots per 90, non-penalties. He's ahead of Kudos, he's ahead of Cunha. Put Miller in there, I rate him as well. Madison and Javi Simons, who we'll talk about later. But yeah, though here he is again. This is his, when he was like 19, 20 years old at QPR. You can see him dribbling comfortably. He's able to drop his shoulders, do body feint, swerve, and able to get, look, he's picking up the ball in central areas, gets his shot off, cleans that, has a nice clean shot, good contact as well. Again, able to chop it early and then find that shot to get the keeper where he's not settled as well. Here he's a nice little dink finesse finish, shot creation actions, actual assists. He's up there. He's able to pick the ball up, run with his head up and use a trivela outside of the boot into that kind of half space, into the area. His teammate finishes it off. And again, he's able to stand in between the fullback and centre back, then come alive, then play that quick through ball. So his speed of thought, his spatial awareness is superb. And that's what allows him to pick out his teammates. Here again, quick speed, thought of moment, and he's able to find that little through ball, a little cut through. Here he goes. Again, uses the ball, lifts it over him, then he has a diagonal into that box. Successful take-ons, this is what he's top at. Progressive carries is not as prolific as the other stats. But here he is again, turning, puts it through the goalkeeper, through the defender's legs. Again, cuts onto his left foot, cuts back in, cuts through his legs, and then gets his shot off. Unlucky not to get a better result there. Again, into the midfield and finds that nice little through ball shot creation action there. Gets the ball, picks it up, drops the shoulder, beats him. He's got good physicality about him as well. Good upper body strength, shrugs his player off, uses his hand to push away players, and then is able to dribble and to create separation that way. Long balls and key passes are quite good. Not really spoke about a lot from many people, but he's got good through balls as well. And here's an example of that, where he's just found his teammate there. He should be doing better. Finds openings, nice little clip balls into the box where he finds his teammate, gets his head up, nice weighted pass over the top, nice chip balls as well. Gets over nice little diagonals into dangerous areas with a good amount of pace on it as well. Good, he's good in time, he's in space, he gets his head up, he's able to find a nice swervy curved ball out wide just to open up the flanks. First time touch back heel into the teammate, wants a little 1-2 and doesn't quite get it this time, but here he is again in that little pocket, finding a little through ball into that midfield. Here he is with his head up, finding that diagonal, opening up the team, opening up the game just through that pocket where you're in between the lines. He likes to stand in those areas. Even in transition here, he's running at players. And that's the thing I was saying about progressive carries. Even though it says, it's quite low, he is quite prevalent when it comes to those attributes. He's able to carry the ball at speed and make decisions really quickly. And his spatial awareness, as I said before, really clever, smart player. Spatial awareness, that makes his mind up a lot quicker than your average player. And I think that's what separates the elite players from the okay players. The next one I'm going to talk about is Javi Simons, or Simmons. I don't know how you pronounce it. But Javi Simons, here he is. Another profile, slightly different. Not sure on the wages, so I'm not going to quote them. But he's attacking midfielder, plays for Netherlands, 17 million. It says here, pretty close to the figure that's actually been quoted. Plays central, as I said before, as an attacking mid, but has played left wing and right wing for the Netherlands and for PSV and other clubs like PSG as well. Played in a 4-2-2-2. There's his heat map. Talk about his stats real quick. Progressive passes is different to the other players. This is what stands out to me. And the passes attempted is completely different as well. Shot creation actions right up there as well. And things to work on, maybe touches in the penalty area, maybe because he is a 10, he's a little bit further back. Progressive passes received again. That could be worked on and carries as well. But the eye test suggests very different. So when you read these stats, it's always good to watch the player to see if it marries up. Aerial heading ability is a lot higher than I thought as well. So that's something to be noted. But GA 16, shots on targets, he's third. And here he is in action, literally outside the box. Here he is, nice top corner finish, gets good contact, ball out of his feet, and then he lets the ball do the rest of the work. He puts it through the goalkeeper's legs, wins the ball high up, gets it out of his feet, slides off, but hits it with power into the top corner right here. Back heel improvise, finished. Here he is again, ball out of his feet, and he shifts the ball the other direction, wrong foot in the goalkeeper. Here he is again, first time finish, good and out of instep power into that bottom corner. Here he is at the penalty spot, so good movement. Shot creation actions, as I said, lower than it should be, but the eye test suggests a real different where he creates a nice little through ball for Sesko there, gets his head up, Apenda's running onto it, and he suits a transitional team quite a lot. So if Spurs are to be a transitional team, you'll see him dropping into those areas. Sometimes in possession as well, you can see here when teams are in a low block, he's able to lift the ball over the top, and Apenda should finish at there. Here he is being patient, good area, finds a nice little diagonal ball there, very cheeky. There he is running at speed, able to find that through ball into Apenda. Apenda comes in, should be finishing that. And then again, a looping ball over, and Xerxes puts it in the back of the net. It was a bit of a deflection there, but here he is running at speed, finds his player. His ability to run at speed and then pick out his player and have his head up through the legs. Sesko doesn't finish there again. Just maestro dictating the play, got the speed and awareness just to pick out his players. Just absolutely dynamite. Here he is with crosses as well into the box. There he is there, just hanging off, not always running in behind. Sometimes he hangs off and there's a give and go over the top. But progressive carries and dribbling, let's look at some of these attributes here. He is quite skillfully poking it around players, getting the ball here on the half turn, first touch, beats his player, then he's running into space, starts the attack, running with his head up again. Nice weighted pass into Apenda again. Here he is running again. Another transition for the Netherlands. A nice little through ball there. Look on that turn. He wins that ball up, beats the player, puts it around him, and he's ready for another attack. So that speed of thought that I spoke about, that spatial awareness, that anticipation is really good. That long balls here as well. Pretty decent. Passes into the penalty area. We've seen that as well. Through balls, he's demonstrated that all day. 23, much higher than Madison and Cunha combined. Gets that first touch. Look at that clip ball into the wide area. Picks that ball up into that half space. Able to find that through ball. Here he is again, linking up with players, and then finds the little diagonal pass. So that type of vision I'm talking about, where no one else can see the eye pass through the needle. He's able to do that. He's able to get on that turn, flick that ball over, switch the ball, switch the play, and start the attack again. Here he is, patiently building up and then letting it go. Give and goes. He doesn't want to take too many touches sometimes, and he's able to find his player. So that's what I'm talking about, playmaking. Great ball into space with the outside of his boot. Nice Travella there. Another dink. Excellent play just to help his team up the field. Good, nice link up. Good tenacity to win that ball up and get his team on the front foot. Here he is in the midfield. First thought is, how can I get into the attack? He lifts it over that defense. Here he is in that midfield again, and that's in between the lines, picking up good areas, and then he hits the diagonal. That speed of thought. This is actually world class in my opinion. It's actually elite what he's doing. Another through ball out of the outside of his boot, finding that player. So that is Javi Simons. And I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on what you think of some of these players, if you think they're good enough for Spurs, if you think they can fit in Spurs, etc., etc. Now, there's another player I'm going to talk about. We've talked about Eze, Kudos, Xavi Simons. Now is going to be a player that splits fans' opinion, and his name is Semeno. So Semeno is a Ghanaian international. Back then, when I was doing transfer market, because I did this last year, and I had Big Up Jay and Chef as well, Supreme. Yeah, they were both on the channel. We were doing a scouting report on this guy, and we were quite excited when we were looking at him. But since then, I don't know what's happened. Maybe people haven't rated him from before. I don't know. But yeah, Semeno can play on the right. He's predominantly played on the right from what I saw from last season. And this season, he's played on the left as well. He has played up front before. I think he played one game for Bournemouth up front this season when they had a massive injury to their striker that they got from Porto. But at Bristol Rovers, where he was playing, he actually played up front there for them. So he's able to stretch teams, play on the shoulders, run on the shadows of centre backs, like running the where strikers, sorry, where centre backs can't pick you up, they can't read where you're gonna run. He's good at getting on the shoulder. But yeah, here's some of his stats, and that was back then. But now we know that he's got. It's actually, if I'm right, he scored 16 goal contributions, but he got some in the cup as well. So it's 19 goal contributions all in all, man. So sorry, it was 11 in the league, but he got some in the cup as well. But it's about 19 goal contributions I counted anyway. But if I just go back to his stats real quick, if I just look at that, this was back then anyway, and they've improved since then. But touches in the penalty area, that's something that's really up compared to his competitors. So he's really in the box, and that's what I'm talking about. That false nine, he's able to do it, and he's a big tactical component for Bournemouth in the way they aggressively press from the top. He leads the line at times. He's the one that kind of pins centre backs back. He's really mobile, aggressive. He's got great agility, physical, 5'10" as well. I think he is, and he's nothing but pounded yam and muscle, if I'm being honest. But yeah, successful take-ons, touches, progressive passes received. So shots in total, a lot. He takes a lot, and I think that's the criticism that loads of people are thrown at his door. But at the same time, his shot accuracy isn't as bad as people are making out. I have seen him live. I've seen a few games where he hasn't done it, but here he is. His earlier days, shot power here, chops onto his left foot, weaker foot. He's actually right-footed, and he smashes it top corner. So he's good. Weak-footed finishes, right foot there, finishing. So it makes him more unpredictable. There is a left foot finish again. Players don't know what foot he's going to finish with, so it's harder to navigate or telegraph. Here he is again, off balance, but is able to get his shot off and finds those corners. Each time I'm watching him shoot, he gets those corners down to a T. There he is, right foot, left foot, bottom corners, and that's where you're taught. When I was watching Kane always used to find a corner of the net. That's what I really like, and I like his aggression, his tenacity to get into the 6-yard box and get the goals and finish it off. But here is a good balance, good foot speed, coordination. There is another powerful finish, and people underestimate how quick his foot speed are. Good finish there is again through the legs, good contact, good power, good connection. There he is putting it through the player's legs, cuts it, he actually chops that man and then gets his shot off. Again, he beats his man and then he gets his shot off. So I like that he's able to pirouette, turn, and then have an end result and get an actual action. There he is on the half volley, different type of finish there. Look how he skips past his man, takes it over and flicks it, goes to cut in and still gets his goal, still gets his shot off there. Here he is again. So he's been doing this from early, from when he was like Tel and Odebert's age, or and when he's 18, 19, 20 years old. So it's not just when he's at Bournemouth. Look how nimble he is and agile. He's a bit slimmer here. Look at the pace and rapid. He's quick, he's fast. Just havoc. He's causing problems, asking questions all the time. Gets that touch, and he's able to pick up his teammates as well. So it's not like he's a selfish player. On the half turn, on the little 360 pirouette, cuts through, direct, driving at players, good foot speed, able to finish right there. And also defensively, he's able to get back, help his teammates, and then win that ball back. He's press resistant as well. So when he gets the ball, he does pin players, and then he's able to use his width and his shoulders to kind of hold players off, body them, go on the outside, go on the inside, run direct, run forward, good first touch, cuts inside. And he just looks like a star. At this age, you could just see there was something about this kid that he's going to be something, he's going to make it. And ever since then, he's making the jump to the Premier League and he's able to show this level. Look at that burst of acceleration, quick speed. He's able to use that and he knows when to use it. He's not just using it for using its sake. You see some players, they've got a lot of speed, but they don't know when to use it. Some of these are old stats, so I'm going to just talk through it as we go through. So, but that is basically Semeno, guys, in a nutshell. I'm not going to talk any more about him. But what I will do is, if I can, I'm going to share my screen, and we're just going to compare Semeno to a few other players, and that will determine like whether, if the jury's still out on him. So me personally, if I bring it up, I'm looking at him. I'll compare him to Mohamed Kudos. So with Mohamed Kudos, you can see he's stronger at crosses into the penalty area and successful take-ons and shot creation actions when the ball's in play. But Semeno is in the blue, so Kudos is in the red. Semeno touches in the penalty area, which I've said before. Progressive passes received, so meaning his first touch being press resistant, better than Kudos. Again, passes into the area, better than Kudos. He's making more of those. Key passes, he's actually better than him. Progressive carries, he's doing more progressive carries. That means he's taking up the pitch into the space, driving it. He's good on the transition or counter attacks. And then also tackles as well and interceptions. He beats him. So in terms of a tactical weapon, if you want to press and be aggressive and win the ball out the pitch and turn the ball over, you're going to look for a player like Semeno. Not to say Kudos can't do it, and he doesn't do it, but at the moment, if we're doing them side by side as an attacking midfielder, Semeno's beating them on that metric. Non-penalty and expected goals, again, expected assisted goals, again, he's better. Assists, better this season. And they're joint on shot creation action. So that just gives you an idea. But if I wanted to flip it, because I said already, you play these players along the front line, I've said that Kudos suits the midfield. I'd say the advanced 8 a bit better, and you can see he dwarfs Semeno as an advanced 8. As an advanced 8, he kills him, and even as a forward player, like a striker, I call him the false 9. He beats him as well. But as a wide player, Semeno works. So there's an argument you could say you could possibly utilize both. You could utilize both. One playing wide, and then one in the kind of, as I said before, the Met Sala role or the false 9, and they could potentially interchange as well. So that's another thing to consider as well. There's another player I'm going to quickly talk about, because I've spoken about a lot of players. We're not actually linked to this player, but there's been light rumors, and I know that PSG are in slight financial difficulty, so they do need to get rid of players. And this player at the moment, his name's Barcola. I know you're going to laugh. Asher deluded. But Doué, Kvaratskhelia, and Dembele are all taking his space. Do you know what I mean? He's on 126 euros a week. And look, I'm saying, look, if they're saying we're going to win the league and we want to win champs, you need players like this type of level. He's 22 years old. I know Levy's got a good relationship with the PSG chairman as well. Remember, we got Mora. Everyone was surprised about that. But I know these are different times right now. Would the player want to come? We'd have to give him crazy wages, I think, for him to come. I'd say 150 at least, maybe 180, and he could come over. But remember, Son was on 200, so the wages are there. If this is a Son replacement and we're trying to take it to that level, I'm just throwing out there. I don't think we'll get him, but I'm just saying, a hypothetical world. There's his heat map. Predominantly plays as a winger. I'm not going to talk about his stats. His stats are out the world. He's just elite at this level. And I've looked at him against other players. Lookman is a player I rate as well. But here he is quickly, little chop, little roll of his foot, near post, gives him the eyes, beats the keeper, finish, little curlers from the top corner. There he is, chops it onto his right foot, finds the corners again, cuts into his right foot, is able to use that curler, keeper does well to save it there, does that thing again. First touch is excellent, uses power this time, rifles it into the top corner, gets on the ball here, slows his body down, then uses his curler, uses that inside of his boot. Different types of finish here, finesse finish as well, chip finishes. Again, first time finishes, early finishes. Like here he is again, look, bang. Bottom corner, curler again. Jeez, hits the crossbar. Successful take-ons, progressive carries. He's there, obviously. Carries into the penalty areas. But he profiles like a wide player, like a winger. He's very much a winger. He's not an attacking midfielder. He's a player that likes to hug the touchline, and he provides that threat out wide. So like similar to what Tell does, but obviously this is another level up, and that's why I'm bringing him up. He's 2 years progressed into his career. He started at Lyon and now he's at PSG and he's doing bits. And we have been linked to a player that is at Lyon at the moment called Fofana, who does profile very similar to Barcola. But again, he's 20. He's got 2 more years. I think we've got Tell already. So what's the point of bringing another player like there. Long balls, not really part of his game. Key passes, he's involved. Passes into penalty areas, he's elite. Through balls, he's got that in his locker. So he likes to get his head up. He likes to play those through balls, and he can do that, man. He can literally play those through balls, get his head up, attack whilst running at players, find his teammates, do through balls into dangerous areas, into the half spaces. And as you can see, man, he's just elite at doing what he does. Look, I'm not going to talk anymore because this is a fantasy signing. You're allowed to have one. And his crosses into the box as well. His cutbacks. He's not just doing a Brennan Johnson like pass into the 6-yard box. He's able to do different kind of link up plays, little 1-2s, gets it through the legs, cuts it back, goes onto his weaker foot cross as well. Like clever little through balls into the box as well. So he's got a little bit of IQ. And that's what I look for in a player, man. This is the level we need to be looking at if we were to aspire to the competition of a Liverpool and Arsenal, Man City. So it's like, what do you think Spurs are? Who are Spurs to you? What is a Spurs team? Where should we be? If we're top four, then for me, we need to be looking at players like this, man, in my opinion. But that's just me, innit? I can only dream, right? But I just want to go into tactical playing now to see where some of these players would actually feature. So we've got Son here. I'm going to take Son out because Son, this is a Son replacement show. And so let's take Son out. We've got Solanke and Kulusevski. I know Kulusevski's injured at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll take Kulusevski out as well. And we'll put in, what player should we put in first? The first player I can see is Kudos. So Kudos could be here. And for me, if you're trying to be serious again, you get two top players. So let's have Eze, right? So you know Solanke likes to drop, right? So Solanke likes to drop in here. So then he pulls out one of the fullbacks. So what you expect Kudos to do, because he's quite aggressive, he could be the false nine, as I was talking about. He could be running in here, and that could stretch Gabriel. That could push Gabriel back, or it could give Lewis Skelly something to think about. Do you know what I'm saying? If Solanke drops into this pocket, he might push towards this right-hand side. That gives Maddison like license to roam in this area. Equally, Maddison could play from deep. Eze now is the secondary striker and he drops in. So you can see the tactical flexibility right there with Solanke and Kudos. Let's even take Solanke off, right? Suppose if Solanke's not there, you take Eze out, right? And you put, for example, Semeno. So I know people don't fancy Semeno, but let's put Semeno in there. And let's go for, let's say, a Javi Simons. Let's see if I can find them. So Javi Simons. So again, Maddison's making those late runs as he did earlier in the season. We saw him score a goal against Leicester like this. Runs in and behind. Javi Simons, as I showed in that video, he's able to find those balls over the top or those through balls into a Maddison right there. Boom. Equally, you can see those two swap over where you've got Kudos again dropping in here. Semeno in this kind of half space, he's able to fire crosses into the box and players can run onto that. So he could cross a ball into the box. You've got a player running onto that. Maybe Madison's in there to finish. So it's just versatility in terms of, you know, what you can do with these players. Again, Simons could be, let's delete that. Simons could be further back. So Simons could be further forward, sorry. So let's bring Simons forward. Maddison could be further back here. Kudos could start the attack. And then Porro could get in the space here. Imagine Porro's high in those half spaces. And remember, I said Semeno played as a striker at some point. So if imagine he's got the ball in these diagonal balls here, he could slip the ball over into Semeno. He could do those diagonal crosses into Semeno, for example. Or, as I said before, if it's not Semeno, it could be Kudos. Do you know what I mean? We've seen Semeno drive with the ball centrally. We've seen Kudos drive with the ball centrally as well. Kudos could pull out wide and overlap as well. So you've got that option. You've got Semeno out here on the left going wide or coming inside and then Doggy going on the overlap. So you've got options there. What we need now is a long passer, but we've got Romero that can do those balls in behind those long passes. looping over. So we could even do that for Romero. Romero could just switch the play there. Let's make it look like it bends a bit. So imagine he's just doing those long balls. And even Porro. I can hear you guys in the comments. Porro can do it too. So you could even have Porro in these half spaces. Again, the doggy's going to be utilized a bit wider for me. So he's going to be hugging the touchline a lot more. And that's where you have your players like Semeno that would like to underlap in here. Or you could overlap. You could double up at times. Take two players out. Timber doesn't know what to do when you've got two players on him. So you've got tactical flexibility in those players, in my opinion. So yeah, man, that's what I would like to see going forward. I'm not happy with one of these. I would like to see both. That's my remit, my ambition as a Spurs fan. But guys, if you like the video, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We know these first 10 games are coming up. Season with Thomas Frank in charge. Can we do something? Can we back him? We've got a good start in my eyes, and if we get the right window done, it won't matter if Mbemba and do what he wants to do. If he's not talking the talk, let's get him out, man. But listen, let's see what happens. Guys, please make sure, as I said before, you like, share, and subscribe. And also, the awards are coming up, man. Peace and love, people.